Yo, what up? Welcome to the Wednesday Wow. Lloyd here. Hope everybody's doing okay. Today is February the 6th, 2019. I hope that you are just as excited as you were on January 1st, 2019. That's right, when you set those New Year's resolutions, baby. I hope you're just as excited as you were then because it's still time. We still have time to stay in there and get it done. We have the time. We just got to put in the work, all right? Don't give up. And I'm not talking about that motivation that comes around tax time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the motivation that you said, I'm going to get this done. When you say, no matter what hurdles come my way, no matter what obstacles, no matter what fences people put up for me, no matter what circumstances come about, these are some of the things that I'm going to get done, and that's that. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure that your February looks a lot like that drive that you had on January 1st when you said you was going to lose that weight, or that drive on January 1st when you said you was going to make that money, or that drive when you said you was going to build a better relationship with your children. Make sure that drive remains the same. You keep on pushing all the way through 2019 with that. You understand? Never stop and never give up on that. That is yours. No one can take that from you but you. Don't let anyone take that, because that's that thing that wakes us up in the morning, right? That's that thing that makes us want to go. So don't let anyone take that from you, all right? That's just from me to you. That's how I wake up every day, and I'm talking about 2:30 a.m., baby. I wake up like that every day going for what I want. I have goals, my family goals, my personal goals, and I wake up and I go after it. And that's what I'm hoping for you, and that's what I'm praying for you, all right? Getting back into the subject, last week we talked about when to know when to let go. How to know when to let go. When is it time to let go? And I use the example of when is it time to let go of my way of doing things when I realize it's not working towards what I want. That's how I realize it. When I know it's not working for what I want anymore. All right? This week we're talking a little bit about resilience, right? So after all of that's played out, we're talking a little bit about resilience, right? Now, I like to define things. Definitions, words, I love them, right? And a simple definition for resilience is bouncing back. Very simple definition for resilience is bouncing back. And the best way, I had a conversation, the best way to describe it is through a conversation that I had with Bobby. He used a term, and I'm going to get to that. Bobby Brazel is the director of the Midlands Recovery Center in Columbia, South Carolina. Actually, Bobby Brazel, his story is going to be told in a movie called Ocean Boulevard. So check it out by Zoe Miller Productions. If you don't do anything in the spring of this year, you check out Ocean Boulevard by Zoe Miller Productions. But in a conversation that I was having with Bobby Brazel, he said something to the tone of recovery capital. That was the term, recovery capital. And when it comes to resilience, the way I'm going to use the term, I think of the word recovery capital. Now, what does this mean? Lloyd was diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 17 years old, right? 17 years old. So I didn't have much recovery capital, but I had lots of life skills, all right? So that's the term that I'm going to use a little bit more. Recovery capital and life skills. Now, growing up, we grew up on the rough side of the mountain. We didn't have much growing up. Even though, what was funny is we made the best out of the little that we had. I talked a little bit before about sneakers, right? So we were known for the nice sneakers and all that stuff. Even though we didn't have lots of sneakers, we knew how to keep our sneakers looking new. Right, that was our thing. We used to stay in the bathroom with the soap and the toothbrush, and we would pull the shoestrings out, and we would get the shoestrings nice and white, toothbrush. This is a fact. You know what I mean? This is what we used to do because we didn't have much. We couldn't just go get another pair of shoes, so we had to make these look new as long as possible. We had a washing machine, but we didn't have a dryer. So we would have to wash these clothes, and then we would have to take these huge bags of these wet clothes around the corner to the laundromat on our shoulders. These huge bags of clothes, we walk into the laundromat to dry them. My mother would give me bill money, and we would have to go down to the light company and pay the light bill, or we would have to go to the renter center and put the money on the furniture that we had or whatever. So these are some of the things that we had to do. We had to clean the house before my mother got home from work on the weekend. So we had to make sure the house was spick and span from top to bottom, bathrooms, kitchen, everything. We learned how to cook at an early age. So all of these things we learned. My mother used to say, I'm going to teach you how to do all of this stuff so you don't have to worry about no woman doing it for you. You can get it done yourself. You will never be debilitated if you don't have a partner in your life. You won't be in a place where you can't get things done. You can get it done. All right, so that was some life skills. Shouts to Mary Davis for kind of really keeping me on point with that. So fast forward to the future, I realized that when I decided that the way I was doing things wasn't working and I had to bounce back when I had to wipe clean all the stuff that I was doing, all the nonsense that I picked up along the way. I'm strong. I don't need nobody. Da, 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 da. I had to wipe all of that clean. And what I was left with was those very foundational skills that I was given, right? So now that I'm taking medication, this is back in the day, I was taking medication. I was starting to take my recovery a little more seriously. Some of the things that couldn't be taken from me were the things that I learned when I was a kid, right? The things like learning how to cook for myself. I was confident that I could cook, some chicken and some rice and some pork and beans. I was confident that I can get these things done. So it was certain things that I just knew that I could do, even though I was diagnosed with this mental illness. I had some experience under my belt with taking care of me before I got sick. That was a plus in my belt. Now, the reason I tell you that story about Recovery Capital is it is important. It is wise. I advise you to make sure you're putting something good in every single day. Whether it be reading, whether it be exercise, listening to the wise speak, whatever it is, make sure you're putting something good in. And when I say good, I mean spiritual food. I mean mental food. Make sure you're putting something good in on a regular basis, daily, several times a day. Because one day, you might have to bounce back. And it might not be bouncing back from mental illness. It may be bouncing back from a bad relationship. It may be bouncing back from the loss of a job, loss of a loved one. It could be bouncing back from anything. And when you bounce back, sometimes all you have to lean on is those things that you were putting in. So if you're not putting anything good in, you will have nothing of value to bounce back with when it's time to bounce back. And trust me, everybody is going to have to be resilient at some point in this life. Everyone will have to bounce back. So make sure you're putting the good in, all right? Make sure you check out my girl, Lady Simone, with the Fresh Friday, and my man Mo with the Most Monday Moment. Till next time, that's my Wednesday Wow. Y'all be easy.